Welcome to this fourth Professor Chat. We have spent the last two chats talking about enhancing your value proposition relative to your target market. I said that is your biggest strategy. If you don't have customers buying your goods or services, then you're out of business and everything else is mute. You, however, are wanting to take off. And to do that, I have recommended that you build out your strategic framework. It's a lot like playing chess. You develop a winning game plan. Now, we've already discussed the heart of your framework with domain, vision, and mission. With your value proposition and target market clearly elaborated, we now turn to the supportive key strategies of your value proposition. Strategy is not a detailed manual, but rather a high-level directional view to guide the leadership team. And that you can share with your people as well and others as needed. For all your key strategies, you should write them down. And say a strategy document with the key elements. Tactics and specific initiatives or projects will come from your mid and short-term planning that execute the strategy. First and foremost is your people strategy. How do you intend to energize your people to fulfill your value proposition? I think your people strategy is so significant that it will be the topic of our fifth and sixth Professor Chats. So let's move on to the next critical strategy, marketing, which is a must-have. Marketing strategy is your game plan for reaching your target market customers and turning them into buyers of your product or service. Now, back in my undergraduate in business, I had a whole course on marketing strategy. There were a lot of discussions on the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. Now, in developing your target market and your value proposition, you have already thought through the product or service and the price that goes with that value proposition. Thus, at this stage, the considerations involve thinking through the place and the promotion component of your marketing mix. Now, place is all about where product or service is available. This gets a lot into the distribution network. How do you get your product or service to the customer? If it's a product, can they buy it in a store or online, receiving it through the mail, and so forth? If it's a service, do you go directly to the customer, their location? Do they come to your location? Do you provide advice over the phone or through some such thing as Zoom, and so on? At this stage in the takeoff, you have already determined where your place is. So your key question should be, is there other distribution networks that would enhance our sales? I want to spend most of the time on promotion, which is the centerpiece of your marketing strategy. Now, it is all about growing your customers. The fundamentals of promotion are around the medium and the message. We know the core message, which comes directly from your value proposition. Having the content of the message, the next consideration is how to deliver that message to your targeted customers in a compelling way. Needless to say, you must have a website in today's marketing world. As you outline your marketing strategy, you should scope your website characteristics, but do not get into the detailed design. Those turn into projects in your yearly plans when your website needs rejuvenating. Now, within the internet medium, digital advertising, such as Google Ads, is an internet channel which ties into your website. And if you go down this route as a strategy choice, I suggest getting some expert advice. There are people out there who know the Google algorithms and can enhance your hit rate and lower your costs. All of this is part of search engine optimization, or SEO as they call it. Some similar thinking should occur with the use of digital advertising through LinkedIn and social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter. How well do these platforms fit your targeted customers? There's another aspect of social media called network marketing, where you send messages to your personal friends and family. So for small businesses, this can be effective and cost efficient. There are other channel choices on the internet, such as marketing as a marketing medium. For example, email is so prolific these days, it requires some real thought on the campaign and whether that channel can reach your targeted customers. Now, it takes some work understanding the demographics of your customers. You really have to dig into it and obtaining what turns into your email database. Plus, the campaign requires carefully constructing your ongoing messaging. Where you have close contact customers, email is probably a less likely medium for you. On the other hand, if you think it's a good vehicle, put that down under your strategy with some notation on the frequency of the campaigns. If part of your messaging is that you are savvy and knowledgeable around your product or service, you could consider a blog. This will require consistent messaging to build a blog following. As a consultant, blogs become one of my channels of choice. But having ongoing messages to blog about is challenging. Switching gears, another powerful medium is face-to-face contact. Direct selling can work well for small businesses. In small companies, this often can be the owner, you, or a significant member of your leadership team. Hiring salespeople can be expensive, but you can also avoid paying for advertising space and campaign costs and so forth, so there are some offsets. You will not likely need some marketing material to hand out, such as brochures, if this becomes a part of your marketing strategy. Another form of direct marketing is using a call center to identify potential sales leads. The message must be well construed, where the target market is easily identifiable. Call centers can be effective. Still, another form of direct marketing can be done through events, such as trade shows. Using trade shows really depends on your product or service and the match to the trade event's theme. Constructing your booth is also a messaging consideration. If you are launching a new product, you may invite customers to an event to showcase the new offer. Of course, there are many more traditional media, such as TV and radio and newspaper advertising. And depending upon your marketing budget, a local TV or radio ad may be a differentiator. New channels keep popping up, such as phone text messaging. The key, like email marketing, is to get the contact numbers for your target market audience. The important concept in marketing in all of these various channels is this identification of sales leads, which you then funnel through your sales process. Now, I've gone into a little detail on the medium and channels within them so that you would carefully think through your choices. Are there other channels to consider that could grow your sales? In the end, it's all about properly matching medium and channels with your target audience. Now, I've got an engineering company's clients, several of them, who rely primarily on face-to-face calls. They do have websites. On the other hand, I invested in an apparel company that used to do trade events for bigger size customers and local direct visits to boutique apparel shops for local customers. And their website they use for direct retail customers across the country. So there's all different choices. Spend some time writing down the channels that you wish to pursue in your marketing strategy and how they help you in turning potential target customers into buyers. Whatever medium and specific channels you choose, it will be important to measure the effectiveness through KPIs. Are you getting the impact you want for the price you pay? Put these KPIs in your strategy document. And with your messaging, you're trying to build brand recognition. Marketing strategists could talk all day about brand theory in creating your reputation. The messaging plays a fundamental role. How you say it, who says it, do you have an identifiable logo or caricature that represents your value proposition theme? Getting name recognition associated with your product or service is the fundamental goal. Having a distinct, differentiated reputation with your value proposition is the real winner. Marketing requires repetition, both in the messaging and, importantly, your consistent execution with your customer on delivering the promised value proposition. When this all comes together, you will get referrals, which is the ultimate channel of gaining customers. Now, beyond marketing, there are other supportive strategies that you may want to spend some time on. Developing these because they're important for your product. For example, if your product does require development and research, then you want to put together a technology strategy. It's always good to think about how you can improve your product or service in this rapidly changing world. I suggested that you review your market value proposition every 6 months, or at least yearly, as you recall. Now, we also talked about growing through acquisitions. If that is a strategy, then you need to develop an acquisition strategic document on your intended game plan. And if you want to grow rapidly, which is what takeoff is all about, you may need financing strategy. And if there are specific processes that you want to leverage, you will need a process strategy. Other elements that are critical to your success, such as procurement, you should also, if that's the case, develop a high-level strategy document for procurement. Once you have completed this strategic thinking for the longer term, you should then put all this together as part of forming your business plan. I would suggest labeling this section that we've been talking about your strategic framework, which includes your domain, vision, and mission, your target market and your value proposition, your marketing and people strategies, and that's as a minimum. And then any other of the supporting strategies we've just gone through to achieve your vision and mission. Well, that concludes today's chat. As I mentioned, the next chat will be on your people strategy. Hope you come join me.